Hi guys, it's checkacola. 안녕하세요, madam입니다. checkacola. Today I want to talk about nostalgia and the way things used to be. So recently, actually, I got Netflix. 한국 아줌마, thank you. Got Netflix for me. So that got me thinking about nostalgia and the past. So actually, in the past, when I wanted to rent a movie, when you wanted to rent a movie, I actually had hey there boy, I had to drive maybe 15-20 minutes to rent a movie. But now, when you drive, actually, you don't have to drive to the store. Now you got Netflix and you got the internet, so you got the videos right in your house. It's actually really crazy. So when I was actually growing up, I wanted to watch like a brand new movie, or I wanted to see like a movie even in the theater, you'd have to go 20 minutes to the video store and then rent the video if it was there, and then drive all the way back, watch the movie, and you'd get maybe one day, and then you'd have to go all the way back. Now, you can watch that same movie on Netflix, and hundreds of more videos on Netflix, basically just on the remote control. So it's crazy. So how you guys doing out there? That's insane. I remember actually Dumb and Dumber, the original movie with Jim Carrey. When it came out, I was really young and I wanted to watch it. So we actually had to go to a store, and we actually went to the rental store and it wasn't there, and you had to put a hold on it. And once the hold was on it, so the guy who had the movie before, they would bring it back and you could actually watch the movie, and you got a day and you had to take it back. Even places like Blockbuster, they went crazy. Well, you can watch a movie. Yeah. So UK Netflix has nothing. In Canada, it has some videos, and a lot of videos, I guess, about all the classic movies, like from the 90s, maybe some 80s into 2000s. They have all those movies. When I grew up, my childhood, all those movies are there. And it's actually kind of like, nostalgic. You remember when you were a young boy or a young kid, you want to see a movie, you have to go, even if you want to buy the movie, where I lived, you had to drive 2 hours maybe to buy a movie, and then you had to wait 2 hours to drive home, and then you could watch the movie if you didn't have school the next day. But if you had school the next day, you couldn't even watch the movie until you went to school and came back home from school. So it'd be, oh my god, I want to watch this movie, So you'd go to school, and you wouldn't even think about anything. You'd just be thinking about the movie. You'd come home, watch the movie. If it was good, you'd be, yeah. If it was bad, you're like, oh, I just wasted my money on this movie. Now, after like maybe 5-6 months, it comes on Netflix. So you watch it and oh, that was a good movie. That was so-so. But you don't actually have to leave your house and go to the store, pick it up, and worry about rental fees. That used to be killer. That's what I remember. Sounds like a pain, but I live quite close. Oh, old Blockbuster. You still have Blockbusters? All the Blockbusters, they just gone where I live. I think there is actually maybe 1 or 2 left in the USA, but where I live, they're all gone. Blockbuster, I hated them for late fees. You would rent from Blockbuster, you'd have to go right away back. And if you're there like 5 minutes late, 10 minutes late, it's like crazy. They charge you late fees, and then they like, we're not going to let you rent movies anymore. So then you'd have to go buy a movie. It's a tanning salon now. Yeah. Where I live, all the Blockbusters are gone, but I did look on the internet. I watched a YouTube video, maybe like, might have been like 5-6 months ago, and there was actually a Blockbuster video. It said like, the last Blockbuster, and it was like a question mark. So I'm not too sure if that is the last Blockbuster, or there is more out there. But yeah, it's kind of nostalgic when you go through Netflix and you see all your movies from your childhood, especially like in Canada, where I'm from. I watched like Jim Carrey. I think most people know Jim Carrey, like Dumb and Dumber, Ace Ventura, The Mask, Liar Liar. In the 90s, when I was growing up as a kid, I'd watch all those movies, but I'd have to, again, like buy them or rent them. Now, you just pay like $10 a month, and they're all there. You watch them, go to the next one, watch them, go to the next one, watch them, go to the next one. So it's actually kind of crazy. Also, actually, video games. If you're young, you might not know this, but you could actually rent video games before. Nowadays, maybe you can still rent them, but where I'm from, like no one rents video games. You just buy them, like even digital copy. When I was growing up, there was no digital copies, and if there was digital copies, you would never ever ever be able to download them on my internet. Hello, stop. I'm good. How are you guys? So yeah, when I was growing up, like even like a Nintendo 64, that was like one of my favorite systems. You'd buy a Nintendo 64 game, and you were gambling if it was good or bad. So you'd buy a Nintendo 64 game, pop it in, play it, and oh, this game sucks. And then Superman 64, very, very, very bad. Oh, you can still, I used to buy pre-owned games. Oh yeah, in Canada, you can still buy pre-owned games, but I don't know any place that rents them anymore in Canada. But there might be some places. But yeah, you'd get an N64, and then you would pop it in, play it, and be like, oh my god, this game is no fun. I just spent $80 on a game. And the N64 games, when you open them, you can return them. So lots of people would go to, like, again, the store and rent a game. And if it was fun, you would go buy that game. But then again, back in like when I was growing up, renting a video game was like $10 a day. Maybe like you could get $15 for the 3 days. So it was crazy prices. You'd rent a Nintendo game for $15 and you'd pop another $60 to buy it. So you'd actually be spending like $75 to buy a video game, or $60. So it's very, very, very expensive. Nowadays, there's, again, digital downloads and demos. You can literally just like go on like the PlayStation store, download a demo, play it. Oh, this game's good, I'll buy it. Or else, you know, this game's bad, it's a pass. But yeah, even I'd say like the Game Boy games. When you got Game Boy games, they were really hit and miss. Game Boy was my very first system. There were some games you'd buy them and you would play for 1-2 minutes. You'd be like, oh my god, I don't know what to do. And guess what? No internet. There was no internet. You couldn't like search cheat codes, and you could be like, how do I do this? How do I jump? How do I do that? You'd have to go into like Nintendo Power. Anyone remember Nintendo Power? That was awesome. Game Boy Advance SP. Oh, you're a young boy. Game Boy Advance SP. I never had one of those, but I know they came out after, and they were very fun. I played it a couple times, but I just had the original Game Boy. My brother had a Game Boy Advance, but other than that, we're done. 안녕하세요. Yeah. So yeah, the Game Boys, the games are hit and miss. I remember one game. Oh, 17. Oh, so you little young guy. Very good. Hopefully you're doing good in school and you're thinking about your life. Good boy. Yeah. So yeah, now the 3DS Game Boy. So 3DS and Nintendo. What is the new Nintendo? Nintendo Wii U. What's after Wii U? I can't remember. So I don't even Switch. So Nintendo Switch, Nintendo 3DS. You can just download everything off the internet and play right away at your home. Before, you'd have to go to a store like 2-3 hours away, especially for Nintendo games. If you wanted to buy a Nintendo game, I had to drive 2 hours to a store that would sell video games. I could drive maybe half an hour to a store that would rent video games, but then you'd have to play it for one day and bring it back. But nowadays, if you live in the city, I always wanted to get one, but I couldn't. Aw, you never had a Game Boy? But nowadays, you can just get a 3DS, download a game in your house, play it, play, and you just download the games like super fast. You got high-speed internet? Awesome. High-speed internet, no time. Just download all day games, maybe 5-10 minutes. Where I live right now, even live streaming. Before, you could never, ever, ever live stream like this. When I was growing up, we had 56K modem. If you got anyone out there computer savvy, 56K modem is extremely slow. If you wanted to download like a song or anything like that from like iTunes, an iTunes song would literally take like hours and hours and hours. So you'd go to iTunes, like apple.com, log into iTunes. That would take you 30 minutes. You download an iTunes songs, and that would take you like, again, hours and hours and hours. Oh, yeah, some people still do play physical copies. I remember Pokemon. I used to love Pokemon Yellow. My first Pokemon game was actually Pokemon Yellow. Then I went to Silver. Then I had a Crystal. Crystal needed the Game Boy Advance, so I had to borrow a Game Boy Advance. But yeah, nowadays, I know some people still get physical copies, but a lot of people, especially when I was in Korea, you just download. When the internet is so fast, you just download the video games and you get them like instantly. You don't have to go to the store, you don't have to leave your house, you don't need to do anything. Lots of people, you go to like PlayStation Network or you go to Nintendo Network, you buy a game, then you call like delivery and say, yeah, I want a pizza. So by the time the pizza comes, your game is downloaded, and you can eat pizza and play the game. So that's really interesting. Also, pre-orders. Nowadays, pre-orders, you can get pre-orders with updates and the games update. Back in the Nintendo 64 days and the Super Nintendo days, when you got a pre-order, sometimes the games would come with a lot of glitches and you couldn't fix them. Superman 64. Superman 64, that game was like one big glitch. So nowadays, when you pre-order, if you pre-order, usually there'll be an update if there's something bad with the game or something like that. But back in the day, pre-ordering was hit and miss too. You'd pre-order a game and then all of a sudden it's like, this game is broken. You can drive through the walls, you can do everything. I only pre-ordered the game because... Oh, you get a free figure and a poster? Is it a Pokemon? Which Pokemon? Is it a new Pokemon or is it like a famous Pokemon? Pikachu, still my favorite Pokemon. After all these years. Charmander, number 2. But yeah, it's crazy. Pre-orders? Oh, pre-orders in the old days used to be like really strange. I'm not too sure if there's like that now. Some places would offer like really awesome things, and other places would offer like crappy things. But the places with really awesome things would sell out really fast. It's one of the... Well, that's cool. Pokemon 6th generation. That's awesome. Yeah, but the pre-orders, I don't know. Maybe they still do that. Like one store will have really awesome pre-orders. The other store will have really crappy pre-orders. But the awesome pre-orders sell it so fast. If you want a pre-order, you have to go to the crappy place. And then lots of times where you go into the crappy place, they don't even give you the pre-order stuff. So it was, pain. But yeah, totally, nowadays with like the video games, it's totally amazing. Also, you guys nowadays are totally lucky with the graphics. Back in the days of the Nintendo 64, the graphics were really, really, really sketchy, like pixely. They were like really strange. Actually though, Tetris, have you ever played Tetris for the original Game Boy? Or like other older systems, it actually holds up. The graphics are awesome for Tetris. Tetris is awesome. If you've never played Tetris and you get a chance, play Tetris. Very, very, very good. But like Nintendo 64, it was known for those graphics, that were like kind of flaky, kind of pixely. Even the first PlayStation and PlayStation 2 had like frame drops and really flaky graphics. That's what I want to call it, flaky graphics. They weren't like clean and crisp. They were like smudged and blurry, which is kind of like, a downer. And it was like, again, you'd buy a PlayStation game. Oh, you'd buy a PlayStation 1 game, and you get like 4 or 5 discs. I've played a lot of the old PlayStation. Oh, Red was your first one? I actually might have played Red and Blue, but I didn't actually own them ever. But the first one I actually did play or own was Yellow. And I think I played Red with a friend one time, like in elementary school. He brought it to school one time and I played Pokemon Red. So they're good games. I actually bought Yellow because you got a Pikachu and you got all the 3 original. You got Charmander, you got Bulbasaur, you got Squirtle. So that's why I bought Pokemon Yellow. I thought it was a good deal at the time. Actually, I put in Pokemon Yellow like maybe 2-3 weeks ago and I played a bunch of it. So it was really fun. But yeah, nowadays, when you order a game, you get like maybe 6-7 gigabytes on a disc, like a Blu-ray, or you digital download it with like a 15-20 gigabytes. But back in the PlayStation days, the PlayStation 1 and even PlayStation 2, you'd get just like a big brick of CDs. Like them Final Fantasy games, maybe some GTA games. You would buy a game and you'd get like 5-6 discs. So you'd be playing the game and then also put in disc 2. You pop it open, open up, and then you play in, put in disc 3. And then if you wanted to save, you have these little memory cards. You had to stick the memory cards in the system for the PlayStation or for the Nintendo 64 in the controller. And then what happens is you save a lot of games. You have a lot of memory sticks, so you have to write on the thing, like, this one is Turok, and this one is Mario Kart. And then you mix them up, and then they didn't read properly, and it was a pain. Also, another thing was Nintendo 64, they did something really, really strange. They had an expansion pack, which added more memory to the system, and they sold games that would not work without the expansion pack. I don't think nowadays that would fly, maybe. But yeah, like Perfect Dark and Donkey Kong were two good examples. I actually bought Donkey Kong, and it came with the expansion pack, so I was lucky. Lots of people back in the day bought Perfect Dark for the Nintendo 64, but they never had the expansion pack. And without the expansion pack, Perfect Dark, you couldn't play like the story or any multiplayer. You could just play like some strange solo missions and something like that. But yeah, that was insane. Nintendo, back in the day, when they did that thing with the Nintendo 64 where they added the storage, that was crazy. Yeah. But yeah, that was insane. If you look up Nintendo 64, or you want to look at Nintendo 64 games, look at the expansion pack. That was ridiculous. Same with the memory cards and the memory sticks. The expansion pack, like, that's like almost what killed the Nintendo for a lot of people. Imagine, this is Perfect Dark in like 2000, I think it came out, around there. You buy Perfect Dark, you spend $100 for a game, you put it in the system, and it's like, you cannot play this, unless you buy the expansion pack. And then you go to the store, and the expansion pack was like $60, $70, or you'd have to get it bundled with a game, and the game you bought it bundled with would be like $100 plus. So you basically were out of luck there. There's actually a Nintendo 64 on the recommended videos list. Oh, that's good. So yeah, check that out. But yeah, lots of people, actually, when I think about it, lots of people don't actually know about the expansion now. If they're like a younger collector, you should look. Always there's a expansion port in the front. Flip it up. If it's red on top, you're okay. But if you flip it up on top and it's gray or black, you have to buy the expansion pack or you can't play a lot of the later games. And a lot of the later games were what like made Nintendo 64 like really awesome. Because the expansion pack, it had an extra memory. So it made like the graphics and everything better and run smoother. But if you actually buy an N64 now and you want to play those old games, you can spend a lot of money and won't be able to play the games. I'm not too sure how much the expansion pack is on the internet or even at like garage sales, but make sure if you buy a Nintendo 64 and you want to play the older games like that came out later in the system life, you have to have the expansion pack or like all the features are gone. Yeah, it was really bad. So that's, how about, I got another topic. Power outages. So, emulators are good now. N64s, yeah, the prices, actually, at the garage sales, I've been seeing N64s going up and up and up and up and up. Before N64s, you could pick them in garage sales or even like pawn shops for $15 to $20 with games and controllers. I remember one garage sale I went to, there was 2 controllers in the system and it was $15. I never bought the system because it never had the expansion pack. If it would have had the expansion pack in it, I would have bought that all day. But it didn't have the expansion pack. So if I wanted to buy the expansion pack and then I'd have to pay more money, and I'm not too sure how old the system was because it didn't have the expansion pack. But yeah, back now when I think about that, I probably would buy that system for $15 because they have increased in price a lot. I'm not too sure what the price is now, but it probably, an inbox N64 I know probably runs for a lot of money nowadays. A lot of money. And when the power went out, you were out of luck. Actually this morning where I live, the power went out for about an hour and a half And it wasn't actually that bad because nowadays we got cell phone and data. Back when I was growing up, when the power went out, you had no data, and the cell phones were so, like, let's say elementary or like basic. You could maybe search on them, but you couldn't watch movies. There was no YouTube. There was nothing. Until like YouTube and music services came out, it was crazy. Yeah, everything has a built-in battery now. Yep. Back in when I was growing up, if you wanted to watch anything when there was a power outage, you had to have like a big generator and you'd have to put gas and you'd be pumping gas into it. And your cell phone, you just pick your cell phone up, power outage, pick up your cell phone, just, yeah, you can talk, just play YouTube, play your games, you know, have a battery pack, plug your battery pack in. It's like nothing has changed. You know, just the lights are off and stuff. But back when I was young, when the power went out, at night and in the winter, you were really, really, really worried. You'd be like, if the power went out like at like maybe 2, 3 in the morning, like at night, so like 12 p.m. after to like 5 a.m. in the morning when it's dark and cold, you'd be shivering, there's nothing to do, you'd just be... Nowadays, you can just like get an electric heater, you know, just plug it into a external battery, and it's awesome. But back in the day, you would just play board games. It was crazy. Like even today, the power was out for 2 hours. Other than like the TV not working and like the electronics and stuff in the house, you just cell phone games. That's another thing. Cell phones have come a long, 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 long way. So nowadays, with smartphones, when I was growing up, there was no such thing as smartphones. There was just the really big, bulky 80s phones and the flip phones, which, again, you could search like the weather, and then you'd waiting. 5 minutes later, today's weather is sunny. And that's all it would say. And then you'd get maybe a calculator. You'd have a calculator that could, like, you know, 1 times 2, 3 times 4, 5 times 6. It was crazy. You couldn't do nothing with cell phones. Now, basically a cell phone, even right now, live streaming on a tablet, mobile live streaming is crazy. But back in the day, when the power went out, no fun with these. But nowadays, it's like not even affecting you. My old phone from like 2010 has better keyboards. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. That's actually a good point. Lots of people nowadays with the smartphones don't even remember keyboards on the phones. Maybe back when I was in university, a little before university, all the phones had the flip keyboards. So even like BlackBerry, you'd have a screen and you have a keyboard down here. You could search. And there was also like there was a PlayStation phone. You'd have the phone and you'd flip it down, and there was like the joysticks and everything on it. So it was like a PSP, but like a phone. But yeah, nowadays everything's touchscreen. I don't know. There might be a BlackBerry floating around there, or maybe even a Samsung phone floating around there that still has a keyboard. But I'd say like 90% of like all the phones and everything, maybe 95% of all the phones and everything are just like touchscreens now. Actually, I remember when I was first getting a touchscreen, I was worried about the screen breaking so easily. Nowadays, the screens are pretty like durable and tough, but the original like iPhones and the original like Samsung phones, you would like drop it like this much and the screen would shatter. You'd have people with shattered screens everywhere, and you know, when they were first coming out, you'd get like 3-year contracts, 4-year contracts for a phone, and it was crazy. You drop your phone, people drop their phone like 1-2 months into the contract, their phone would be all shattered and all jaded, and they would use that phone for like 3-4 years because they didn't pay it off for 3 years. And lots of times before, data. Right when smartphones came out, you never had a broken screen. Personally, don't know how people do it. Yeah, me too actually. I never had a broken screen, But I know lots of people, they maybe like hold their thing and they drop it, or they accidentally set it. Actually, I knew someone who had a phone, a screen, he just set it down on the table like this, and it shattered. It was ridiculous. That was crazy. He had a phone, he just literally just set it down on the table. I don't know if there's like a little pebble or something on there, but it shattered the whole screen. It was crazy. But before, with data, there was actually the wild west for data, when you could find unlimited data for extremely cheap prices. Right when these little guys came out, you could search on the internet, you could watch movies, you could do everything. It was maybe like $20, $30, $40 a month. There was no data caps, there was no data anything. You could watch YouTube videos all day, every day, and there was nothing. And then all of a sudden, people found out, data, we can charge more money for it. So they started charging money for data, and you got data cap like it'd be 1 gigabyte, 2 gigabytes, 3 gigabytes. And now it's like $40, $50 for like those gigabytes. But back in the old days, actually right when you first got these phones, you could tether iPhone touches. So you'd buy a phone that allowed Wi-Fi, you'd tether it to an iPhone touch, and you'd watch your iPhone touch all day, every single day for months and months and months. And you'd never get any extra charges or anything because there was unlimited data. But then again, some guy came along and said, hey, if we charge 1 gigabyte's worth of data, $30, people will pay for it because they got addicted to it. So that's what happened. People got addicted to data. They started charging for 1 gigabyte, 2 gigabytes, even 100 megabytes of data. And then now, we got the situation we got now where it's like unlimited data in Canada, 10 gigabytes a month, then they slow you down. But back in the day, you could watch hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of gigabytes on your little phone. It wouldn't charge you anything. But big companies, they got a hand on that, and they ruined that. Very sad. Even with Wi-Fi, if some people out there know, Wi-Fi when it first came out, lots of people never put passwords on it or anything like that. And people would literally go in front of people's houses and like watch movies and stuff on other people's Wi-Fi. And then companies started like, oh, this can be charged. We can get some money out of that. So they started, putting data caps on Wi-Fi and putting data caps on internet. And then people started locking their houses, like they're locking their Wi-Fis. Like I can literally remember a time when you could take like an iPhone Touch with the Wi-Fi on it, and you could literally walk down the street and 90% of the houses would have no password on their like Wi-Fi. And then like the 10% of the people who did have passwords on their Wi-Fi, their account name would be like John's Wi-Fi. You'd be like, John, you have connected to John's Wi-Fi. So yeah, back in the day, no one put passwords on them. And if they did, they were super easy. Or like, what's your password? Password. Oh, you are connected to John's Wi-Fi. Very interesting. Your password is password. Or your password is your name. But yeah, it's technology and like data and everything has changed everything. Even another good thing is garage sales. Anyone out there like garage sales? See, anyone out there like garage sales or anything like that? Back in the day, you could get lots of deals. That Wi-Fi connected sound was spot on. Yeah. So yeah, back in the day, you could go to garage sales and do everything. And you get like t-shirts, video games. Even we talked about the N64 before. And you get like t-shirts, video games, pots, pans, everything. And you get good deals on them. And you would use it. And you wouldn't sell it. You just use it and like, play with it and do whatever with it. Nowadays, internet and eBay and maybe other sites that sell stuff on the internet, the prices, everything has gone up. Like old toys, old shirts, old comics, everything, the prices have gone insane. So people who actually read the comments and like collect comments, never been to anything like that. Nobody around here has garage Oh, car boot truck sales. Yeah, we're in Canada, where I'm from. People in the summer and spring, it can be like summer clean out sales or spring clean out sales. But people usually open up their garage and they'll have tables and they'll put like stuff they want to sell on tables, and you can walk around like the town or like the city and you can check out the things, and you'll be like $5, $10, $3, $2, sometimes even free. But since like the internet has come around, the prices have gone up a lot. Even in pawn shops too, the prices have gone up. Like someone will sell like an original Game Boy with a cracked screen or the terrible line through it. The original Game Boys were notorious for losing like a pixel line right in the middle. But nowadays people will sell like broken Game Boys and stuff like that for insane prices. They'll watch a TV show or they'll go on like eBay and they'll see, oh, this Game Boy went for $400. I'm going to charge $400 for my Game Boy. Even though it's like the Game Boy that went for $400, it was maybe owned by a famous person, or it was like an original number Game Boy. Like if you get a low number Game Boy, on the Game Boys on the back there's codes. So if you find the code and you enter the code in, if it's like one of like the first 100 or first one or like first dozen, those Game Boys are worth a lot of money. But if you got an original Game Boy that was brought out later and it's not like a low number, it's not worth that much. It might be worth like some, but it's not like worth like $500-$600 unless it's like in box with the battery charger, the cables, and like some unopened games. But yeah, people see on eBay, they see, oh, this went for $400. I'm going to charge $400 for my Game Boy. Or, oh, this action figure went for $30. I have one of these action figures. It's covered in paint and it has crayon in it. So I'll just charge $10 for it, Even though you can go to like another store, even like some collector stores, and you buy those toys, they're trashed, they're missing arms and stuff, and they want high prices for them. But sometimes, if they got paint on them, they got crayons on them, they're going to sell them to you for like $1, $2. So the internet really, really, really ruined that. Even some shows on TV, they show people selling things at like pawn shops, or they show people selling stuff at auctions, and they get crazy, ridiculous prices. So that puts an idea into people's heads. They go through their basements, they find similar things. It's not the same thing, but they want the same prices, like as like a low number. Like if I have let's say like a comic book from like the 60s or 70s, I'm going to Comic-Con soon, and they had Game Boys for 30,000 euros. Oh. Yeah, you should check the prices. Maybe the Game Boys went up. But with comic books, that is a really good point. So if you have a comic book from like the 60s, and it's signed by like Stan Lee, and it's like an original like Spider-Man or original Superman, it's worth a lot of money. If you have a Spider-Man or a Superman from like, I don't know, the 70s or 80s, it's not worth that much, especially if it's a later edition. But people will be gone crazy. They'll like, for a Spider-Man comic that, there's hundreds, if not thousands of copies out there, they'll be charged like $30, $40, $50. And you can go to like even a comic store and buy it for like maybe $5, $6. It's crazy. I've watched some shows, like, they'll have a comic book from like the 90s. It'll be signed by one person. And so they'll be like, yeah, the autograph is worth like $60. The comic book is worth $2. So they'll sell it to them for like $50. You'll go to like a garage sale, and then there'll be someone, oh, this is on this show. It went for $50, so we're going to sell it for $30. No, the comic book is worth $5 max. So it's crazy. So yeah, internet, technology, nostalgia, it's really, really, really insane how everything has changed. And like, technology has gone from like a big computer like this, like a big computer that takes up the whole screen, can do 1 + 1, to a cell phone like this that is basically everything you ever need. This is like a GPS, it has the internet, you can do every single thing with this. It's got Word, it's got like PowerPoint, it's got Excel, everything. A small cell phone like this can do everything nowadays. You don't actually need any other electronics, just this cell phone. It's kind of ridiculous how far we've gone in like the last 20 years, I think. So like even like, so what is it now, 2017? Like in 97, 96, technology was just getting off, right? Because you had the N64. The phones nowadays are more powerful than the computers. Oh yeah. So like, I know the original NASA computers were really slow and had small amounts of memories. Like our cell phones are way more powerful than like a lot of the NASA computers. Like when they first went to the moon in like 1969, the computers could do like maybe like some stuff, like they would do like slope and like where to shoot the rockets, but there was nothing like this. Nowadays this is way more stronger than like that. Even GPS. So you log into Google and you search GPS, you can find almost any place on GPS on your phone. Back in like the 90s and 80s, your computer couldn't even like do GPS. If you ever get the chance, try logic or text games. It's a games like, you are Timmy. What do you want to do today? And you type, I want to get up and go to school. And then there would be, Timmy gets up and goes to school. You get to school. There are 3 doors. Do you want to take the middle door, the side door, or the back door? It was crazy. So those games, text-based games, you've never played them, you should watch some videos on them, or even maybe look and try and find some of those games. They're really crazy. Oh, text-based adventures? Yeah, you know them? Yeah. So yeah, some of them are really actually interesting, but some of them were tedious. It'd be like, you wake up, what do you want to do? And you say, go to school. Invalid. Get out of bed. Invalid. Brush your teeth. Okay, brush teeth. Yeah. So yeah, text-based games. Like the text-based games where it was just words. There was no pictures or nothing, just writing. So how are you doing? Thanks for coming in here. So Comic-Con, actually, I think I went to maybe a couple Comic-Con style events, but I haven't actually been to a real Comic-Con. The Lord of the Rings text-based game was good. Oh, I never actually played that. I'm actually going to have to try and play that. Lord of the Rings, I love that. So I might actually, after I'm finished here, I might actually look up Lord of the Rings and see what it was like. I never actually knew the text-based games. I did actually play the Lord of the Rings on the GameCube. And I think, was it the Wii? No, I played on the GameCube and the PlayStation. So I had it on GameCube and the PlayStation, Lord of the Rings. I loved those games. But I never did play the text-based game. I did watch like the original Lord of the Rings, the cartoon, where they finished it halfways. It was kind of sad. It was actually kind of interesting to see the cartoon. And then they actually made the video later. But I was addicted to Lord of the Rings when they made the cartoon. And they finished it just halfways. But yeah, Comic-Con. I don't know where I live right now. I don't think there is any Comic-Cons. So I'm going to have to... Actually, I should probably look that up later too. The Comic-Con style things I went to before. Some good deals. But a lot of the vendors there, they know what they have. And you're not going to get any good deals. So hopefully when you go to Comic-Con, you get some good deals. And if you get some Game Boys or you have some interesting buys, leave a comment down below or say like, yeah, I went to Comic-Con and I bought this awesome Game Boy, or I seen these awesome books. So it's very interesting to see what you bought there. So actually right now I'm running at 40 minutes and let's see what time it is here. Oh, it's after 10. So I might have to shut her down. So you guys, thanks for watching. If you guys have any quick questions, maybe I can stay around for maybe 1-2 minutes. Any quick questions, I'll stay around for 1-2 minutes. Tonight was actually a pretty fun live stream. Thank you, Julian, for answering all the questions. Oh, it's past 5 a.m. here. Oh, what are you doing, Julian? You should be in sleep. I hope you don't have school. See you. Yeah, so thank you. I will stream again, maybe next week. During the week, I probably won't stream. Just maybe Friday night and Saturday night I'll stream. But during the week, I'll make videos. And I thank you all for interacting and writing comments. I love it when people write comments and I can talk to people. It makes the streams all that much better. No school, just didn't want to sleep. Oh yeah, it's Sunday. I forgot. Oh, I need to go to bed too. I'm so sleepy. I forgot. Today is Saturday here, so it's probably Sunday morning. So thank you all for watching my videos. I love the interactions. If you want to click down below and you can watch other videos or suggestions over here or down there. If you want to check out my new website, I got a new website and I will be posting there regularly. www.checkacola.com. If you want to check that out. So thank you guys for watching the video. If you want to leave a like, a comment, or subscribe, I should be adding this video up later. Bye guys. Thank you guys.